Before Socrates, before Confucius, even before the shadow of Buddha stretched across the Ganges, there was a man who stepped forward into the dusty expanse of ancient India, not to conquer, not to rule, but to question the very nature of reality. His name was Yajnavalkya. And if he's not in your philosophy textbooks, maybe it's time to rewrite them. In the dense oral verses of the Upanishads, he emerges not as a gentle guru, but as a firebrand, sharp, brilliant, and unafraid to dismantle the very foundations of belief. He didn't offer prayers, he offered paradoxes. He didn't bow to gods, he bowed only to truth, and even that, only when it could withstand his relentless scrutiny. He spoke of the self not as a soul floating to heaven, but as consciousness itself. He challenged not just answers, but the structure of questioning itself. He moved like a blade through ritualism, superstition, and duality. Today, on 5 Minutes of Culture, we journey 3,000 years into the heart of Vedic India to meet a sage who didn't just think, he redefined thinking itself. Is Yajnavalkya the most important philosopher you've never heard of? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your take. Let's begin. Yajnavalkya lived in the Vedic era between 800 and 600 BCE, an age of chanted hymns, fire rituals, and gods who thundered from the sky. It was a time when wisdom was sung, not written, and truth traveled through the breath of the speaker. But unlike his contemporaries, Yajnavalkya didn't just memorize mantras, he interrogated them. He appears in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one of the oldest and deepest philosophical texts of India. And there, he doesn't recite. He contests with kings, with priests, with philosophers, even with his own wife. One tale tells of a great debate at the court of King Janaka. The wisest minds of the age gathered to test one another. Yajnavalkya enters late, confident, calm. He doesn't offer respect, he provides a challenge, and one by one, he dismantles their arguments. His mind was a weapon, but his goal wasn't victory, it was clarity. What is the self? What lies beyond death? What is truly real? The world around him was tangled in ritual, caste, and myth. Yajnavalkya wanted to cut through it all. Central to Yajnavalkya's teaching is the concept of Atman, the self. But forget what you think that means. For Yajnavalkya, the self is not the body, not the breath, not the mind. It is that which remains when all else is stripped away. A pure, observing consciousness, unchanging, formless, eternal. In one of his most iconic dialogues, he speaks with his wife Maitreyi. It is not for the sake of the husband that the husband is loved, but for the sake of the self. This was revolutionary. He was saying that everything we cherish, relationships, wealth, knowledge, is loved not for its own sake, but because it touches that deeper awareness. He went further. When everything becomes the self, he said, what should one see, and through what? There is no subject, no object, no second. This is non-duality, centuries before it had a name. And for Yajnavalkya, it wasn't poetry, it was a ruthless logic. He peeled back every layer of reality until only that which perceives remained. If you're still with us, brave soul, smash that subscribe. We've got more ancient mind-benders ahead. Yajnavalkya didn't hide away in forests or hermitages. He walked into the lion's den, the court of King Janaka, where knowledge was currency and ego was king. There, he faced Gargi Vachaknavi, a philosopher who refused to be silenced. She wasn't just smart, she was fearless, and she came prepared. On what is the universe woven back and forth, she demanded. Yajnavalkya responded with layers, the elements, space, and time. But she pushed further. What lies beyond that? What supports everything? Finally, he warned, Gargi, do not question too much, or your head will fall off. It wasn't arrogance, it was recognition. Beyond a point, thought itself breaks. Words collapse. Only being remains. Yajnavalkya won, but not with tricks, with a philosophy that stared into the abyss and didn't blink. And now we ask you, what would you ask him if given one question? Drop it in the comments. We want to know. Yajnavalkya didn't see the universe as something out there. He saw it as nested within us. He described the human as having 5 sheaths, koshas: body, breath, mind, intellect, and bliss. Peel them back, and you find nothing you can touch, no form, just the silent observer, the self. And this self? It isn't yours, it isn't mine. It is the same in all beings. One awareness, appearing as many. He rejected ritual. He redefined liberation. You don't earn freedom through offerings. You realize it through insight. This is moksha, not escape from the world, but waking up to the illusion that you were ever trapped. These teachings would ripple across millennia, into Vedanta, into Buddhism, into modern spiritual movements that don't even know his name. Yajnavalkya asked, "What dies when you die?" His answer, only the outer layers. The self was never born, and so it never ends. Why is Yajnavalkya not spoken of alongside Socrates, Laozi, or the Buddha? Maybe because he didn't brand himself, didn't find a school, didn't write a doctrine. He left behind no monument, just words, carried by wind, remembered by fire. But those words seeded India's philosophical revolution. They inspired monks, poets, skeptics, and scientists. His ideas crept into every tradition, from Advaita Vedanta to Zen. And yet, he remains anonymous to the modern world. Maybe that's fitting. The self he spoke of can't be named, can't be grasped. Yajnavalkya became what he taught. Silent, still, infinite, still, we remember. And remembering matters. Yajnavalkya wasn't trying to comfort you. He wasn't even trying to teach you. He was holding up a mirror, asking, "Can you see what's looking?" He stripped away every certainty, challenged every belief, and pointed, not to heaven but to the space within you that never changes. He didn't want followers. He wanted you to wake up. So take a breath, sit still, and ask, not with your mind, but with your being, who am I? This was 5 minutes of culture. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe and tell us in the comments. Should the world rediscover Yajnavalkya? Stay curious.